Yesterday was quite the short stream. Don't know if it's really longer today, but what is this? I did manage to fix the build. Why is it weirdly loud? No, never mind. Yeah, turns out I copied only the binary for this for Zig 1.015.1 and not the lib. So now I think this works. Yeah, you can see my weird gradient that doesn't move. I did get it to move. I don't know why it stopped moving. Anyway, jeez, what's up with this FPS? Why is it so slow? Am I playing audio? Oh, actually, I wanted to check this. Where's my... No. Okay. No. That's weird. This was working. Unless my... Where's the sound buffer? I know the volume is fine. Just in case. No. That's so weird. It's worse when there's no errors. But anywho, I can check that later when I separate out. Yeah, when I separate the audio. Must have missed something. Go here, Handmade. Got to catch up a little bit because he did. Okay, game update and render. Game update renderer. Edit and I will call it so I think I already have everything in a method. Draw. Just call this a back buffer. Yeah, I think somehow, because this is create image. Can I do this outside? I can reset the memory. I need the buffer height and width. Okay, I think I just need this bit. Hey Devnan, yeah. I almost missed your first message. So moving platform related stuff onto a separate file. Or yeah. So in case you wanted the game to run on Windows, you could just you could create a new file for the Win32 API, and then it's that, I guess. It's it's a chill one, cause did have to. My sound is not working. It was working, and then I tried to do it a better way, and then it doesn't work anymore. So I gotta figure that out. But this one, at least, it's like simple stuff today. So I can try to move this. Should still work. Okay, perfect. And then here. Buffer is it's undefined. May equal to can do that, right? Let me check my always forget. Okay, it needs the file name. I think this can be moved out. Yeah. Yeah. Does it need the back buffer? Plus a pointer, and then buffer. Okay, that was easy enough. Does it still work? Say build. Back buffer is not marked public. There you go. Nice. Resize memory. Yeah, I think this can stay here because get memory size. Maybe this can be pop function size. What does it return? Size. Not sure if this will work. Could be called buffer size. I think. Okay, I think that's fine. I'll rename things later. It's not too bad. Does it need to bind to VM? Not sure. Don't think so. Because it'll run in full screen anyways. Without. What else? Should call this something else. Height. Should be window height. Why didn't it rename it here? And ooh. $32 and $4. $73. $193. Oh, this is no longer needed. Yeah, I don't know either. It should show the errors. But I did update Zig yesterday, but I'm not sure if I updated the LSP. I have to check. But get memory size. 197. What's it now? Alright, this is wrong. 215. Damn, there's quite a lot of widths. 221. Seems quite repetitive. Yeah, that should be the last one. Okay, perfect. What else can we get rid of? Yeah, I gotta look at this. Doesn't work yet. Is that all the window stuff that is? Size memory, redraw. I think then it does implement it. I've used it before. But I updated to Zig. I updated my Zig version yesterday. I'm not sure if I updated the LSP. Was working though. Yeah, I need to check that. Maybe it doesn't do a cross file yet. Yeah, it does sound out. Let me see, I can check if there's any updates. There is one. Okay, now if I do LSP restart, and I can try to rename it again, see if it works. Change this back to width. Okay, it worked. A bell run. Yep. So it was just that. It was just the update. Change this back to window it. Let's save this. Yep, works. Perfect. I can remove this. So, do I use this anymore? No. Main loop return value is no longer there. Sound stream not there. Yeah. I think I can handle this to do when I move the audio out. I think I can continue now.
Input, right? The controller keyboard input, right? It needs to take the bitmap to output, right? And it needs to take the sound to output, right? It needs to take the sound buffer, the bitmap buffer. I guess I should say to use instead of to output, right? So it's going to take the controller keyboard input in. And you know what? Let's call it 4 things. Let's Spanish Inquisition that, because we're also going to need timing. Because if you were doing a locked timer, if you were going to...
Hang on, that's a good point. Where's my keyboard input? Oh, okay. I didn't do anything. Okay, that's a good point. Key release.
have a game that had a fixed frame rate, so it always ran at 60 frames a second, then that's all you would need, right? You wouldn't pass any timing information into it. But in this particular case, since we are not doing that, we're going to do a flexible frame rate for the game. We need to pass in some timing information so the game has any idea what's going on. So at the outset, we pretty much only need these things. Now this may, I'm going to put a note in here, this may expand in the future to like a sound on separate thread, etc. In the future, we may want this to be more complicated. The calls may go from 1 to say 3 or something, right? Because what we may want to do in the future is we may want to have it such that we can have sound run on a different thread and get updated asynchronously or something like this. And so we may want to have the game support calling it back in less of a monolithic fashion. But we're not going to do that until we actually know that we need it. All right. So basically all we're going to do is if we run the game now, we can actually, we've had a regression essentially, right? We've gone backwards in functionality if we run the game now. And the reason is because I took out our call to render gradient, correct? Like if I look at this, there's no more gradient because we're not calling it anymore. So basically what I want to do, just to end the stream today, now that we've kind of seen the way we're doing platform services, is I would like to basically pull out our first piece of platform independent code, which is render weird gradient. Because if you look at it, you will notice that there is almost nothing about it that is platform specific. This Win32 off-screen buffer is really the only part of it which that is true. So I'm going to go ahead and just pull that straight out, right? I'm going to go ahead in here and drop into my handmade .cpp, and I'm going to stick that in here. And you can see the only thing that we really need to do is we need to change this Win32 specific thing to a non-Win32 specific thing, right? So all we really need to do is go here and take this struct, right? This struct that we had, And we need to make that something that is not platform specific. And really, it almost already is, right? It almost already is something that is completely platform non-specific. So if we take a very trivial step here, right? We do game off screen buffer. We've got our blue offset and our green offset there, right? Got game off screen buffer, and we pass the buffer in to this. Then we will be able, and I'm not saying this is how it should necessarily go in the final thing, but we are sort of starting to get, usually code goes through a couple of transformations first, so just be aware of that, but you can kind of see what I'm doing here. We'll start, actually I guess I want to do int blue offset, int green offset. Basically what I want to do is just make it so, 5-minute warning, almost out of time. Good thing we're almost done. I want to make it so that we can at least get something rendering before the end of the stream, so that you can see the first step in platform independence. So basically all I need to do now is make it so I have one of these to pass. Oops, get rid of those ints. So really all I need to do is make sure that I can pass one of those to this. And we can even do that in place here. We can just say, okay, game off screen buffer is some kind of buffer. The buffer has some memory, right? That memory comes from our Win30 screw off screen buffer. We've got the width, we've got the height, we've got the pitch, right? And where were those guys? Those guys were in our, where did it go? It's in our globals here. Darn you, 5-minute warning, you're using up my screen real estate. Global back buffer. That was what I was looking for. All right, so global back buffer dot memory, global back buffer dot width, and dot height, like so. Just pulling those out there should be good, and then we just pass the address of that, and there we go. Now if I run this, you will note that we're almost back to feature parity. We've almost got it back to the place where we had it before. Now we can achieve feature parity pretty easily by passing blue offset and green offset here, right? If we wanted to do that, we could easily do that. So basically if we said for some reason that our thing had this, then we could easily have feature parity, which we should probably do just for the end of the stream, just for fun, like that. Let's see here, what is it actually called? What is it called? I thought it was blue offset and green offset, but apparently it is not that. It's X offset and Y offset, right? Because we were doing the two different ones. X offset and Y offset. So X offset, Y offset. Okay, render that. And now we should have back our controller, and we do. Okay, so I hope you can see how easy that is, right? It's very, very straightforward. That was not like a sleight of hand or anything for those of you who are unfamiliar with platform independent programming. Really, it is that simple. We'll have to do a little bit more here. We're going to get a little fancier tomorrow, obviously. But it is really that simple. All you have to do is define a rigid boundary and then move things across the boundary from the specific side to the non-specific side as necessary. And pretty soon you'll be at the point where almost all the code you write will be on the non-specific side anyway. You won't need to write them in Windows. But that's really all there is to it. It is not very difficult to make very clean, very nice cross-platform code. A lot of people don't. But that, I think, is literally just because they haven't had the experience and don't know just how easy it is, because it actually is pretty darn easy if you just have a little bit of discipline to keep it that way pretty much through the entire project. So there's that. So basically what we've done is we've essentially nuked our render weird gradient call, right? It's gone now. So that is one nice big chunk of code that got moved out, and we're left with mostly code that's specific. The sine wave will be the one that we'll do tomorrow probably, and then we'll look at moving the input as well. But we are well on our way here at the end of the stream on day 11 to essentially having cross-platform game setup ready to go. And again, this will allow basically anyone who's trying to follow us on Linux or Mac OS X to go use, oh, you know what? This might be a good time just before we get to the Q&A to give a shout out to David Gao, who has been doing some porting work. If you go to the forums, there is under coding resources already, even though this section is kind of under construction. There is a platform page, and David Gao has contributed a little handmade penguin thing. basically what he does is he follows the stream and he shows you how to do the same stuff using the simple direct media layer, which is basically a cross-platform abstraction of windowing systems so that you can run on Mac OS X and Linux and so on. It is a very well-respected library, the SDL is. A lot of people ship games on it. So if you were looking for a library to use to help you run on a platform that you didn't understand, or if you just want to use an abstraction layer in general, that is probably a decent one to use. But anyway, point being, he has ported that stuff, and again, you can get to that link pretty easily just going to coding resources.
Hey, brother man. Yeah, I'm doing good. How you doing?
It's right there. So if you are following along at home, we are basically at the end of this week. We will probably have pulled most things out, and we will be in platform non-specific land, so you can follow along at home exactly like you could if you were on Windows. So hopefully that has given you a little bit of a background in the philosophy of cross-platform development and how it should work. I've given you 3 different ways you could do it. I've recommended one of them, but you are welcome to look at the other 2 and see what you think of them yourself. Practice them a little, maybe, see what you think, and come to your own conclusion. We will be continuing with this tomorrow at 8 p.m., and I think now might be a good...
Before I start this, I gotta fix my audio. I also realized, I think this is... a better name would be... off-screen buffer. Off-screen... Yeah, sounds better. Okay, sure. Breaking Bad. Okay, gotta go back to Pulse Audio. Pulse Audio sound simple. There we go. Okay, I remember why. Because where's PA simple? New. Yeah, no worries. Thank you for saying hello. PA handle right. Hang on. Oh, okay, gotcha. Play audio. What's the default server? Handmade, stream, playback. No. Game, sample spec. Sample 16 NA. Native Indian, yeah. Should be saying, yep. Little Indian. Then channels 2. Sample rate is 48k. The rest is just null. Okay. So far, so good. Hang on. Why didn't it take... I was too fast. Play audio. Volume, turn volume. I think I know. Sound buffer size. Should be 2 seconds. Nothing. The only change is that a 16 sound buffer size. It's still the same. Number of bytes is data is any opaque. Simple new. That was an example. New west spec. Format rate channels. Need to free it. What is S? I can check that. of writer. I don't think there was an error. Less than 0, no greater than. I should not print it for a while. Weird. It is symbol free. What is the buffer type? Buffer size. Okay, it's a uint 8. Oh, R is the number of byte thread. Shouldn't matter, no? Let me just check. Luckily, it was working at some point. Audio kind of works. Yep, it's an i16. It's the only thing that I can see that's different. It was an array instead of play audio. Yeah. Slice of I-16. That point. No. It's already a pointer, so I don't know if that's necessary. I do remember there was something you needed to do for audio to play. I can't remember what that is. Or maybe that was for the sync. Okay, let me just try. Yeah. This really can't be it. It's the only thing that's different though. Yep, and then pass it to slice. And put the volume down. 1000. Nothing. Was it too quiet? No. There's definitely something else. What else could it be? Oh, there's a parameter missing. Null, handmade, stream playback, null, game, sample spec. No, that isn't. I mean, that would be an error anyways. I don't know. Can't see anything that's different. What is second stream name? Maybe the only thing I can think of is the stream name's not shared. No. You can see the frustration here with the audio. Yeah, no, this doesn't work for sure. That's annoying. I don't know what to do. How do I debug pulse audio stuff? Oh, somebody else has the same question. This guy again. They are like relentless. Pulse audio is not a valid command. Okay, let me run the debugger. I think that's the best way to go about it. Handmade. Play audio. And okay, so okay, debug. Hang on. Have I linked the library? Let me just check. Where is here? How simple. Yep. Where are all my variables? Of course, the debugger doesn't work either. Let me run it again. Don't need this for now. Oh fuck, because I need to update the LSP here, I think. Is that an update? Great. Yeah, this is not useful at all. Why is everything empty? Yeah, don't even know what's happening. I'm gonna have to figure out without the... I don't know. Debug. Okay. Tone volume is always 0. That could be a small problem. Okay, that explains. I mean, nothing plays. Why is this always 0? Let me get the old code. Because that way, at least I know that it's just my sine wave. Damn. So it's definitely not the while loop. Okay, which is good to know. Hey, we'll see. I'm just stuck on audio again. I think I kind of broke my pulse audio. Kinda. Because the only thing I can think of is when I was working with the async API, I forgot to close the service. Pulse audio check open server. It's cloud. Can I check? Open service with pulse. here. When working with the async, the hang on, there's one still running. Guessing that's the process ID. Is to list clients. There's a lot of clients. Is there any of them called Handmade? Not sure. List clients, sure. Don't really see it. Should have the application name. Let me stop one sec. Build, run. Okay, now it's there. There's no like zombie ones. gonna do that. The audio might not work after at all. What could go wrong? Okay, because I don't have. Okay, you know what's a problem for another day? At least it's not my code. Well, it was my code. Caused the problem. I might have broken pulse audio. I tried restarting my computer too. That didn't work. I mean, at least it didn't break the audio everywhere. See you, Devlin. Probably call it a day. Don't know what to do here. Never had to debug pulse audio. Move platform. Specific code. Yeah, you too, Devlin. Have a good one. Imagine if you had to debug this on someone else's computer. Actually, I didn't try this. Yeah, simple brain. So, and now nothing. What's the second argument for point to a second? Nothing there either. Let me check the same here. Just realized. Forgot to check that. Train error lesson 0. What about... Does this not error? It does. Or what's it called? PA error. What's it? Also just print the value. There is no error, which doesn't make things better. Server name direction dev stream name sample spec. Yep. I don't know. Channels 2 sample rate 48k. Yeah, I have no idea why it's not working. The PA design for application with very basic sound playback or capture needs. You can only support a single stream per connection and has no features for complex features like mappings and volume control. It is, however, Very simple to use and quite sufficient for many programs. First step using sound system is to connect to the server. This is normally done this way. Yeah, I'd say pretty much. Stream playback. Yeah, there's only 1, 2, 3, 4. About 4 arguments you need. The rest is just null. At this point, a connected object is returned or null if there was a problem connecting. I could check that. If audio damn, my typing's gotten worse. See, that doesn't make it any better. Once the connection is established to the server, data can start flowing. Using the connection is very similar to normal read and write system calls. The main difference is that they're called PA simple read and PA simple write. Note that this operations always block. Control sec buffer control simple get latency will return the total latency of the playback or record pipeline respectively. Once playback or capture is complete, the connection should be closed and resources freed. This is done through that. Maybe I can flush it. PA symbol. Zip. Get simple latency. Debug print. There is no latency. So we should just play. Unless something is wrong here. That's what I think. Position is equal to 0. What's the period? Sample rate divided by hertz. T is 2 times math pi times wave position divided by period. Sine of t times volume. Tried writing volume, so that should just be 1000. Is it too quiet? Maybe. Okay, no, I could hear 8000 before. What does this mean? Print all processes owned by process by a user named X. All? Okay, now I see. Displays the process ID terminal associated with the process. still there though. What does that even mean? Alright, I don't know. I think I'm just stuck. Alright, okay. For the second time. I'm gonna try and stop. I'll figure this out some other time. Don't know what to do. I could try and restart my computer again. Although that didn't work the first time. Alright, okay. Problem for later. I'm gonna call it a day though. Not getting anywhere. Fuck. I don't wanna. It's like so annoying. So close. What could I? Zombie pulse. Hang on. There was something I can do. A simple new text name. Is that server name? Damn, fuck. Why can't I type? No. Just block though. Just the audio doesn't come through. Now. Nothing. I should just really restart Pulse Audio. Okay, let's do that. Not found. What about the socket? Also not found. Now I'm just running random. Random commands from the internet. Service not found. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Alright, I'll try cloud one more time. Can I? Okay, so it was the right library. Oh shit, that just doesn't want to play. What was I doing? Oh yeah. Writing audio to pulse. Using pulse. Simple. There are no right errors or it was working before I tried to get the async pulse audio working. See, I think this might be the problem, but I'm just guessing. Or this. So it's narrowed down to two things. Oh yeah, that's the one. I know, but that just might be my audio device. What is the device name? Look here. All right, I can see the application. Spotify. Let me close Spotify. One last thing to look through. Into the OBS. Media name is playback. I don't know what that is. There's also OBS. Spotify. Might be the mic. I don't know. Media name is playback. Application name is that. I don't think this is mine. That's Spotify. OBS. Speech dispatcher dummy. I don't know what that is. Also OBS. Also. It's only one. Yeah, it's the default device. Oh, it returns the bytes written. I didn't know that. Thought it was the error. Which is bytes written. Okay. So it's none of the things that I was thinking. And what is expected? Data. Any epic. Bytes its use size. Sample rate, channels, and size of I16. This number of bytes. Yes. So weird that it's always zero. Yeah, but that's a separate problem. It's quite weird. Okay. I think I'll continue tomorrow. I'm like really not getting anywhere. Alright, I'm gonna call it a day, finally. For sure this time. Alright, as always, thank you for hanging out. I'll see you back here tomorrow. Hopefully. I can figure this shit out.